My name is Claudia, and I want to welcome you to my kitchen today, and I would like to share a side dish with you that was inspired twofold. One, it was inspired because I had something like this at a local restaurant. The other reason behind my making this today is because I love polenta, but my children don't. So I figured if I could maybe tweak it a little bit and add sweet potatoes, I could actually convince them to try it. So my dish today would be a creamy sweet potato polenta. And what I would like to do to start is walk you just through the ingredients that I'm using and then take you through the process of it. And I have decided to shortcut all of this because I figure I wanted to make it quick enough for an after work dinner, a side dish I should say. So what I'm doing is I'm actually using canned sweet potatoes. So I'm using a small can of the sweet potatoes and I have them drained. And to that can I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and probably about a quarter of a teaspoon of freshly ground nutmeg. And then I will blend all of this together and to make this into a puree. For the polenta, I'm using instant polenta, and I'm using 3/4 cups of the instant. And I'm doing a combination of 1% milk, 2 cups of 1% milk, 1 cup of chicken broth. Now, you can go as decadent as you want with this. If you want to use half and half or heavy cream, be my guest, use that. If you just want, if you're concerned about calories, if you just want chicken broth, go ahead and do that. If you want to use skim milk, go ahead and do that. It just depends on how creamy and how decadent you want to go. So I've decided to do a little mix of both. And then in the end, I will add in, to add some more creaminess, I will add in 4 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese. And then at the end of that, when all of this comes together, you just will season it with some salt and pepper, and if you for a little bit of heat, a little bit of red ground pepper as well. Okay, so to get started, you want to take a medium Dutch oven and put it on your heat and put it to about medium high. Put your milk, and your chicken broth in, and you want to bring that up to a boil. While that's doing that, you can work on pureeing the sweet potatoes. So I'm going to use an immersion blender. You can use an electric mixer if you choose. Whatever you have that works for you. Basically what you're trying to do is just make this into a puree. And at this point, to help that along a little bit, use your maple syrup. Put 2 tablespoons of that in there. And again, a lot of this is to taste, so if you like it a little bit sweeter, by all means, put a little bit more in there. If you don't want it that sweet, because after all, it is a side dish and not a dessert, go ahead and cut back a little bit. Do a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And vanilla extract is not just, at least in my kitchen, it's not just for baked goods. I like to use it sometimes in savory dishes as well. And then a few grinds of freshly ground nutmeg. If you don't have whole nutmeg and you don't want to freshly grind it, I would say about a 1/4 teaspoon of already ground nutmeg will do it. And then you take your blender and you just mush it all up. And as you're mushing all of this, you're going to start to smell the cinnamon, and it's going to start to remind you a little bit of the holidays. But that's all right. And try and get as much of the sweet potatoes out as you can, because you want to preserve every one of these. Okay. When your milk or milk and broth mixture comes to a boil, then all you're going to do is add in the polenta. Okay, now that the milk is up to a boil, you will take your polenta and slowly whisk that in. And at this point, the process is just like making any regular polenta. So you whisk it in and stir until it gets thickened. And with the instant polenta, it should only take you about 5 minutes before it's thick enough. After a while, you don't want it to boil too rapidly. You might want to switch to a wooden or plastic spoon to help you. Just kind of let it come and let it do its thing for the next 5 minutes. Okay, it's starting to get a little thicker and it's bubbling nicely. Okay, so when it is thick, you want to turn down the heat because now you're going to adjust seasoning. And salt and pepper, I'm just literally using it just to taste. So you have to taste it as you go. And again, just a little hint of red pepper. If you like a little spice, just a pinch, just to give it a little spice in the back of your throat, but not overpowering. And then you're going to add in all of your sweet potato puree. And just stir it in. And as that stirs in, you will also want to add in your cream cheese and let that melt in there. And at this point, you have the heat on low. And just stir long enough to melt it in. If you like it even creamier at that point, it should be good. But if you like it even creamier, you can always add at the end a little bit more milk. But this looks pretty creamy to me. And this is basically all there is to it. It's done. So within 15 minutes, you have a side dish on the table. All you need to do is ladle it into a bowl or whatever you're serving it with, put that on top, and you have a different twist on polenta. So I hope this recipe is intriguing enough to you to help you break the age-old rut of pasta, potatoes, or rice again with a side dish, and maybe try something new, and maybe even get your children to eat polenta if they are as difficult as mine, and get a little bit of nutritional value in there above and beyond what's already there. Thank you so much, and enjoy.